Hey guys, Dean here. Do you guys remember when you were a kid how, life was carefree and fun and you didn't have a care in the world, right? You just played, you maybe, went to school and, uh, the homework assignments weren't really difficult. You maybe had some multiplication tables or you had to go over the basic fractions and maybe some spelling lists where you had to, look at some words and learn how to spell them. Just very basic homework, but a lot of playtime, a lot of free time. When I grew up in Southern California, uh, man, I climbed a lot of trees, and we have a lot of canyons down there in San Diego, and I would go hike the canyons and or ride a skateboard or ride a bike, and it was just a lot of fun. I remember, especially those elementary years, as just being a lot of fun, and it was really really neat. But then you grow up, right? We tend to go from chaos to order. And if you're a parent, obviously we can't remember when we were babies, but if you're a parent or you're familiar with babies or toddlers, they're chaotic in their intellect and in their emotional capabilities. They, especially when they're newborns, it's all very base instinct kind of driven sort of things. It's I cry when I'm hungry, but I don't even realize I couldn't articulate what it is about my condition that makes me unhappy. And there's just no ability to reason. So I cry if I'm cold or if I've wet my diaper, and hopefully I'm not wetting my diaper. But I might cry or any number of things just based to get attention. And so there's a certain amount of chaos. And so what's really neat is though, and we don't really recognize this, is that our parents in the family structure that God has ordained. They provide parameters and structure that allow children to go from this early sort of chaotic state, just very new to everything. And kids can grow, and they go from chaos to order. And they, over the course of growing up, they learn how to think and reason, how to articulate their thoughts, and how to deal with their emotions and manage their emotions, so they're just not, emotionally all over the map, but they learn how to self-regulate and how to deal with life. And what parents do is they provide parameters, rules of the house, if you will. Every family is a little different. There's some basic rules, things you do and things you don't do, right and wrong, all this sort of thing. And these kids can grow up in that home, and especially when they're young, very little responsibility, and almost even really unaware of the parameters or the rules that are set in place, but operating within those house rules, those family rules, their safety and their security. When those rules are taken away, those parameters or boundaries are removed, that leads to insecurity. What's okay? What's not okay? I'm unsure. I don't know. And am I going to misstep, or am I going to be, okay? And so rules and boundaries allow for security. They're not burdensome or hindersome, unless there's, you got the helicopter parents, those overly strict sort that try to control the kids. Instead of unfolding who they're meant to be, they try to mold them into who they want them to be. And so it can become unhealthy. But let's just assume for the sake of this conversation that it's a healthy home. There are healthy boundaries set, and the child is operating within these boundaries, these rules, is very secure. And as I was, and as I hope you were when you were a child, you felt loved and secure. You had joy and peace. And then as you grow, and of course, I had my issues. It wasn't all, apple pie and baseball growing up. But anyways, boy, we can work and strive to honor God in our families, that's for sure. But be that as it may, as we grow, then we move more into order. As I was saying, we become educated, we articulate, we manage our emotions, and all this sort of thing. And then the irony is sometimes we get this attitude that we want to sort of put away all constraint, and I just want to be free. But there's this hole in our heart There's this desire for order, and when we establish order through getting into relationships, if you're going to be in a relationship without any kind of order, any kind of mutual understanding of how things are going to go, it's not a healthy relationship. So when we enter into a romantic relationship or a friendship, when we enter into the family dynamic, there's order is a natural part of that. We get into a career. We identify with our career, and our life is oftentimes kind of set up around what we do and how we identify, and that order is implemented through that. So it could be family relationships, it could be career, it could be academics. We invite order. Our social clique, there's a certain order within that clique. What's acceptable, what's not acceptable. So we typically invite order. Now here's the irony. So order's a part of our life, whether we like it or not. People often reject the Christian faith, and even in a broader sense, all faiths, but we'll speak specifically of Christ, the Messiah, God that came into the flesh and died so that we can live. People often reject faith in Christ, citing that they don't want to come under any kind of religious trips. They don't like the rules and the regulations that are associated with the faith in God, faith in God through Christ. And part of me gets it, but I just think it's a bit ironic because we're always bringing in and inviting order in our life. Maybe it's self-imposed order. We want to be the master of our own domain or that sort of thing. But irrespective of how we approach order, it's there, whether we acknowledge it or not. You get into a relationship, hey, there's got to be some kind of framework, some basis upon which you communicate and you approach life collectively. There's order in that, and so on. Work, school, whatever it may be, social structure. So here's the thing, though. Jesus in Matthew chapter 18 and verse 3 says that unless you are converted and become as little children, you will by no means enter into the kingdom of heaven. And I want to liken this to what I spoke of at the beginning, where I spoke of what it was like to be a child, carefree, happy, playing. There were boundaries in place, but you know what? We weren't burdened by them. And the same thing is true when we come into a relationship with our Father in heaven. And we do have to convert and become as a child. And we do have to accept God's economy, and I'm obviously not his financial framework, but his economy in terms of his values, his moral values, his societal values, how we view him. And I use that term economy in that broad sense. And that he has an order under which we would come into a relationship with him. He has a path, a way, a narrow path, and that's through Jesus Christ. But when we do so, and when we receive that order, there are really protective barriers and boundaries. We call them rules, regulations, heavy trips and all. But man, there's freedom in that. There's security in that. So when we submit ourselves to the gentle, light yoke of the Lord, man, we're no longer burdened by the burdens of this world, or weighed down, I should say, by the burdens of this world. We're set free. Just as we were when we were children at home, enjoying life and carefree, we can cast our cares upon him and be free to be who he's created, no more, who he's created us to be. So there's no more pretense. There's no more striving to try to find my place in the order of life at work or in the family. I am God's and he is mine. I'm at peace. I'm no longer wearing guilt and shame. And then I grow as a child of God. And so I just want to encourage you in that today, that I hope that if you're watching this, you're not rejecting God's economy for your life, his value system, his, you want to call them rules, we can call them rules. But his standards, his parameters and boundaries, if you will accept that and allow yourself to come into a relationship with him within those boundaries, you will find such security and freedom. You will be content, a blessed person, a happy person. And I think that, instead of pushing away the very thing that's good for you, these boundaries or rules, these religious rules, you will find peace and contentedness like you've never known, because He's good. God's good. He's not trying to oppress you, put you down, So anyways, I hope this blesses you in some way, shape, or form, and that you would let go of trying to establish your own order or seeking it in the world, but that you would put yourself under the gentle and easy yoke of the Lord, because He's got a good plan for you. All right? God bless you. Bye.